Okay, I think we're ready to move on. I think what I want to do, let's take this off. A couple of things that we're going to do. I want to put on the hatch cover crane, and we're gonna put it right around here. I think we're gonna put it back here. And the next thing I want to do is we can think about the lifeboats. Now, the davits that are on the ship, as well as the mast, were actually painted black. So that's what we need to do, is we need to paint the mast and the davits. We're going to put them black, and we're going to think about putting the lifeboats on. What I want to do is, let me show you guys the lifeboats that are going to go on the sides. And this is small, but there was half red and half white. But what I want to do is I want to put a line of white along the ship, or the lifeboat, before we put them on. And then we can put the crane on. So let me get some white. I'm actually going to use a paint pen, because I think it'll be it'll be easier for me to put the paint down using the tip. So with this kind of paint, what I do is you shake it up and you hold the tip down, and the paint goes through and soaks in. See, I got just a dab of the paint. And what I'm going to do is we're going to run it just along the side. Like that. Hopefully you guys can see that. And let's turn it upside down, and we'll do the other side. See how we got that on both sides? Let's just do the front. All right. And now, let's see, I want to be able to, just like that, and we'll do the other half of the ship. I know that's kind of small. All right, let's put these, we'll put that aside to dry, and now we'll do this one. And let's use the tweezers, and we'll finish it off. Here we are. Okay, I think now we're going to paint. Yeah, I got to use a brush for the other things, but let's paint that. So we're going to use the Vallejo. And let's use a small brush. Use a little bit of the thinner. All right, so you can see the davits. This thing over here, I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's also going to be black. Make sure not to touch the wet lifeboats. So we're going to here we are. All right, now we'll do the davits. Here we are. And lastly, we'll do the mast. Got to be careful because the mast is pretty close to the smokestack and I don't want to get it on the colors. There. So, I'm going to show you guys that a little bit closer up. You see some of the details starting to come out. I think what we can do now is we'll wait for that to dry and we'll actually put the lifeboats on. So when it comes to the black, I don't know if we need black anywhere else. Nope. I think that's it for the black. Okay. So we can clean up the brush. we can put this aside. Okay, I think we can actually start to think about putting the crane on. So when it comes to the hatch cover crane, we're going to have to take just a little bit off. So where are the snips? So what I want to do is I want to pair it up so it's a little more even. All right, that looks good. And we'll take just a, there. So we're going to glue this on. And I think we're going to use the Instacure for this. Before we glue it, I think, so I like this side, and we're going to put this like this. So let's fit it into place first. It's going to go on either side, and it's going to kind of lean up against the lights. But we want to make sure it's straight. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to glue the bottoms as opposed to gluing the deck itself. So we're going to put just a little bit of the glue on the ends of the bottoms. And we're going to then glue this just over the hatch cover. And we'll put it, let's see, right near the middle. So that's going to go there. So we're going to let that set. I got it right over. See how it's over the hatch? And that's how they're able to load the iron ore, because they need to have the hatch cover crane. And what this does is actually it can go the whole length of the ship on the tracks, just to be able to remove these covers, because these are huge. And incidentally, these all have little clamps that get clamped down when she leaves, just to make sure that water doesn't go inside. So the glue is already starting to set, and we'll let that dry. I'm wondering if we should put a little bit, well, no, I think I'm going to leave it alone. But that's the hatch cover crane. So now you can see she's really starting to take shape. So she's coming down. You can see all the hatches, hatch cover crane, and you can see the mast and where the lifeboat davits are. So we're looking pretty good so far. I think once we get the lifeboats on, I think the only thing we'll have to do is actually the rigging. The last thing we're going to have to do after that is we're going to do the ship's name, the Edmund Fitzgerald, but I'm not going to even attempt to paint it or draw it on. We're actually going to need to have the 1/400 decals, only because I didn't want it to come all this far and then to really mess it up trying to write out Edmund Fitzgerald on the ship. She needs to be treated with justice and respect, so we're going to do her justice. We're going to actually have the decals on 1/400 scale. The aft end of the ship actually says Edmund Fitzgerald, and it says Wisconsin underneath it. Then it says Edmund Fitzgerald on the side. Well, actually, I can just show you. Let's see. Right off the bat, you can see where it's going to say Edmund Fitzgerald in the front. So let me try to get that same shot for you guys. So we have that picture. And it looks like it's in red. So we got that on both sides of the ship. So let's see if there's one towards the aft end that I can show you. See at the aft end of the ship, it says Edmund Fitzgerald. And that will be right there. So the way this is depicting her is just about when she's ready to sink in that storm. And on the aft end, you can see Edmund Fitzgerald in Milwaukee, and that's where we're going to put that right on the back. And on this side, it's going to say Edmund Fitzgerald. And of course, it's going to say Edmund Fitzgerald going across the top at the aft end of the ship, just above the doors to come out onto the deck. The postcards don't have it, but the pictures that I've been using do have a picture of the hatch cover crane, especially the thumbnail. Okay, so that looks good. So what we got to do now is we actually have to wait for this to dry. Let me see if it's getting there. It actually is getting there. Just a little tacky now. Let's see if the lifeboats are dry. We're going to figure out which ends to use. And those are going to be glued into place right there. So let me see if I can actually put one in place and show you guys how it's going to look. Let's get a picture of the lifeboats. I think the only ones that have that are over here. It actually looks like this has it on the deck itself, and then the davits will be to raise it up. So I don't think we have room on the deck to rest the boat down. What we're going to do is it's going to go right here. So maybe if there. I'll wait for that to set a little bit better. We got the lifeboat on the starboard side. So let's bring it over to the port side. We'll do the same thing. We're going to put the glue, the Instacure on. There. So we got the lifeboats on. And the only thing really is the flags, the American flag, and I think some of the rigging. Now the difference between, this is an iron ore carrier for the Great Lakes. The smokestack didn't have rigging like an ocean liner would for the North Atlantic, like Titanic or Lusitania. They had all this rigging for the smokestacks. The ones on the Great Lakes, they didn't have that. Granted, these weren't as tall as the ocean liner smokestacks, but that's looking pretty good. You can see the lifeboats. I'm wondering if I run the rigging up through the bottom of the handrails, or through the handrails. Now I obviously know that's not how it was, but I don't have anything else to grab onto. And that might just work. So let's use the tweezers, pull it through. Just like that. We're going to go to the flagpole. We're going to come back up and go down to the let's see if we're going to be able to pull this off. All right, I think what I want to do now is we're going to put a drop of glue. We're going to put a drop of glue on either side to kind of solidify the thread, and we're going to use the, I'm not going to use the Instacure, it's too goopy. I think we're going to use a little bit of the super glue before we cut it. So I'm going to put a little dab onto a toothpick, and let's put a little bit on, and we'll cut these loose ends when it's dry. When it comes to the front, maybe we'll do the same thing. Run it through the railing. All right, let's tie this in a knot. Okay, so that's onto the railing. So I need to run it through the railing up top. There. Hopefully you guys can see the rigging. So what I want to do, we'll put a little bit over here on this rigging, a little bit in the front, and finally on that side. So we're going to wait for that to dry, and we got to wait for the front part to dry. So don't look now, but when it comes to this build, the only thing we got to do now is all we got to do is put the name of the ship on it, and then she'll be done. She's coming along. She's come a long way. Again, all this stuff will be trimmed off once the glue is dry, because we don't want all that extra hanging off the edge. So the only thing, the next video is going to be, let me just make sure that this isn't going to dry. That's better. We'll cut that later. So, like I said, my friends, the only thing we have left to do now is we got to put the name of the ship. We got to put the letters on. So, again, we're going to put letters here. We're going to put letters over there on both sides at the aft end of the ship. Over here, just above the doors, where you walk out onto the deck, and lastly down at the back at the stern right over here below the fantail or poop deck. So my friends, I hope you're enjoying the build, and we're going to conclude it in the next video. We're actually going to put the stickers on, well, decals, and we'll do the lettering, and that'll be it. She'll be complete. So until that video, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.